Hey guys, just wanted to take a second and say thank you so much to all of our Patreon supporters out there, and to remind you that you too can become a supporter of the show by heading over to patreon.com/roadiefreeradio. And for as low as $1 a month, you can help support the show and keep these stories coming out week after week.
All right, what's happening, roadies? This is Carly Scoville.
This is Mary Brabant.
What's happening, roadies? This is Heather Bay, and you're listening to Roadie Free Radio.
What's up, roadies? My name is Larry Milburn, and this is Roadie Free Radio, your VIP pass to meet and greet the stars behind the scenes of the music and film business. All right. What's happening, roadies? Welcome back to Roadie Free Radio. This is episode number 118. This is your host, Larry Milburn. This week's guest is Heather Bay, monitor engineer and front of house engineer for the space at the Westbury Theatre. What's going on? I'm not coming at you from a barn tonight. No, I'm recording this show late night in my home, way down in the bowels of the house. And yeah, it's cold out there. I didn't want to go out to the barn in the studio and do it tonight. So I decided to do it here in the house. And you guys know I like to stand by the gear that I use. So here's my first ringing endorsement of the show. As you know, I like to use the Focusrite 2i2 Scarlett interface. We have a closet above the floor, above the room that I'm in, about 2 flights up. And I pulled my bag out to head down the stairs. Thought the bag had been closed. I guess I didn't close it because that's dad life for you. The brain doesn't work all the time. Bag opened up. Scarlett flies out of the bag, does a double ender, over, under, whatever the hell it's called, down 2 flights of stairs, takes big chunks out of my wallboard on the way down. A knob popped off. I got that back on, and here we are recording. The thing is built like a tank. It sounds great. That's the Scarlett Focusrite 2i2, my friends. Get one. They're awesome. I wish I had a code for you, but I don't for that one. Anyway, what is going on? How are you guys? It's been a cold New England week since last week's episode, and but we're staying warm. We're staying warm here on the mic, and it's good to have you. So listen, don't forget, as I said last week, we got Tour Link Pro coming up in Tucson, Arizona, January 17th through 19th. But don't forget, January 16th, the Women in Touring Summit is going to be kicking everything off. This event has all new owners and a new team. Have fun, be safe. Take pictures for me. Let me know what's going on. Speaking of taking pictures, I've been sending out a bunch of stickers recently. If you guys want stickers, hit me up. info@roadiefreeradio.com. I'll get you some stickers. But the deal is, you got to put them on a case. You got to put them in a studio. You got to put them, somewhere cool. Take a picture for me. Pop it up on Instagram. And we'll share that stuff. We'll get it out there. But stickers are making the rounds. Also, we got Anaheim. Big date in Anaheim. What's coming, kids? The NAMM show. January 24th through 27th. As you know, I will not be making it this year. I wish I could do it. Going to save up my ducats for Summer NAMM instead. Very excited about that. But I'm going to miss out. I've already talked to some people that are going to be heading out to Anaheim, and I've got a little NAMM withdrawal. I'd like to be going, but I can't do it. Got to save it up. I asked you guys last week, I have the possibility to create a Roadie Free Radio app whereby you would just have to go to that app, just download that app, no additional cost to you, and you get all the episodes right there. You wouldn't have to, I don't think you'd have to go to iTunes or Stitcher or any of those things. All the episodes would come right to you on your Roadie Free Radio app. What do you think? Is there interest? Should we do it? How cool would that be? Just look at your phone. There it is, Roadie Free Radio. All of your favorite stories in one spot. I think it'd be kind of cool. I might just do it anyway, regardless of what you think. Listen, happy birthday shout out to Mike Analog Man Piera. Good dude, making pedals. They do pedals right. The King of Tone pedal, the Prince of Tone, the Sun Lion. Good stuff. And also my buddy out in LA, composer Jeff Cardoni from Monkey Cage Music. Happy birthday to both you guys. Speaking of catching up with old friends, I hung out this week with some past guests. Episode 29 brought us Lucinda Rowe and Michael Connolly, some local artists, musicians, songwriters, producers up here in the Litchfield County area. And they run Red Room Studios here in Litchfield County, a very cool spot. If you are into fully analog recording to tape, Red Room Studios is the place to go. It's very cozy. It's very comfortable. Michael knows what he's doing with a razor blade, choppity chop of your takes. So check it out, Red Room Studios. I will put a link in the show notes, special mentions section of the episode. If you go to roadiefreeradio.com and you're looking at this particular episode 118 with Heather Bay, you will see their link. But if you're in the area and you want to get some cool analog recordings done, go see Michael and Lucinda. They will take care of you at Red Room Studios. Also, Steve Katz, former guest of episode 13 from Blood, Sweat, and Tears and the Blues Project. He's been over there doing some recordings, as well as a night of storytelling and playing that he did over there. Over at Red Room Studios that Lucinda and Michael offer, they also have these, what do they got there? Like storytelling nights, where people come and, they tell stories about their career and whatnot and do sort of a retrospective. They've had Ricky Byrd as well as Steve Katz and a few others, and they're going to be launching some more this summer, so keep an eye out for that. We'll be talking about that. But if you want to hear their particular stories, check out episode 29 for Lucinda and Michael, and then Steve Katz's episode 13. Finally, before we get to Heather's story here on the show, don't know if you guys caught it on social media. I finished another Magpie Salute video that has gone out, the Winter Tour promo video. Check it out. It's up on our social media sites, as well as the YouTube channel for Magpie and all of their stuff. Fun stuff to do. I still can't believe I get to go and film my idols doing their thing and make content for them and put it out there. It's certainly very cool. So yeah, very good stuff. Listen, as I said last week, why don't you guys roll up to NAMM if you're going to the show in some new duds, right? And in particular, check out my friends in Chicago, this husband and wife team called Stage Hands Clothing. This is the one-stop shop for backstage professionals who are always working hard behind the scenes, and they count on high-quality, durable workwear. They carry everything from men's and women's apparel and plenty of super cool gear to keep you ready for the next task. Now listen, if you use the code ROADIE, okay, you get yourself 20% off that new pair of Dickies you've been wanting to get, maybe a black sweatshirt. In fact, I'm wearing my super cool, cozy, stealthy black hoodie right now that they sent me, keeping me warm down here in our little faux basement area where I'm recording the show. So check them out, stagehandsclothing.com. Use the code ROADIE, get yourself 20% off your entire order. Maybe you need a new knife, a new Leatherman, a new hat, a bag, a thermos. Check them out. You're going to like it. All right, Heather Bay. Listen, Heather Bay. How did I meet Heather? Let me think about that. Oh, yeah, Heather. I met Heather. I met Heather at the space at the Westbury Theatre when I was there shooting, actually, the footage for the Magpie video that I just released. And she was doing monitors for them. And she was super cool. She kept her cool the whole night. It's a big, loud rock show. And there's a few things going on up there on stage, and she was awesome. And I thought, you know what? Let's talk to this gal. So we did. We had a very cool chat, which you'll hear coming up here in just a moment. Graduate, SUNY New Paltz. She created a short film, by the way, that I will put a link to also in the special mentions for this show. You got to check it out. It's a 16-minute documentary about the 5%, which represents the amount of women who work in the touring industry, who do sound. And it's a great little film, man. It's a great little film. I think it was her thesis film. She talked to a lot of amazing women like Susan Rogers. She's a big supporter of Sound Girls. They are a big supporter of her. And we are now a big supporter of Heather as well. Bright young star. And my friends, she talks about it. She's looking for a gig. She's looking to get out on the road. Okay? So any of you tour managers, production managers out there, you need a pretty awesome monitor engineer or monitor tech or front of house or assistant or somebody who's just cool, who's a good hang. get in touch with Heather Bay, all right? Rising star out there. And also wanted to let you guys know that we are sponsored today by my good friend Daniel Shotsky's over at gig-gear.com, makers of the award-winning gig gloves and the newly released two-hand touch. Gig gloves are the best way to protect your most valuable asset on any gig, job, or show, your hands. When you're wearing gig gloves, there's practically no task that you can't do with your gloves on, keeping you safer and more efficient. And for all of you front of house or monitor engineers out there, the two-hand touch is an efficient and ergonomic solution that eliminates all of the problems of having to hold an iPad or tablet by putting it right where production pros need it to be, directly in front of them. You can use both your gig gloves and your two-hand touch at the same time because the gig gloves have special little things that let your fingertips pop out so you can control your iPad or your tablet while you're mixing, man. So you got the two-hand touch and the gloves. Kind of cool stuff. I got the gloves. I don't need the over-the-shoulder tablet holder situation. I just use the gloves. Anyway, use that code RODIE. Get yourself 15% off your entire order. So check out the website, gig-gear.com. Use the code RODIE to get 15% off your entire order. If you live in New England, get yourself a pair of the thermal gloves that he makes. They're pretty slick as well. All right, guys, that's it for me this week. Here we go. We got Miss Heather Bay.
Hit it. Call yourself a roadie. Call yourself a roadie. Call yourself a roadie.
Heather, what's going on? Happy New Year to you.
Yes, Happy New Year.
How are things?
They're going.
How was your New Year's?
It was all right. Low key with a couple friends.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
You worked one of those days around there, didn't you? You posted something on Instagram, I think from your station at Monitorland. And I was curious because it sounded like you said something like kind of off to a rough start, but
now we're
back
was
on track.
My just a bunch of things from the year. The beginning of my year was a little weird.
Gotcha.
And then I got some new jobs, some fun things happened. And
cool.
Obviously I met you, and that was kind of
just changed your life, really.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. No, around when I met you is actually when I started becoming more and more of a monitor person at the space.
Yeah.
So that's when things got really fun. So
right. Well,
yeah.
You did an awesome job. Okay, so I got to clarify something for you. So we technically met at the Westbury Theatre when the Magpie came in.
Yes.
And I was shooting a bunch that night. But I had just seen them 5 days prior when they played up at the Hudson Valley Theater in Peekskill. So that's why when we were trying to set this up, I was like, oh, I can just pop up or maybe we can meet. I thought you were there.
Yeah, I had a feeling you did. And I do work in the Hudson Valley sometimes. So I was like, does he not know that I'm not from there? But that's okay.
And you're like, I'm in Long Island. I was like, holy shit, you drive from Long Island all the way up to Peekskill? That's insane. But it gave me a glimpse into what all you folks that are on the road really do day in and day out, and how it just must be a blur, which I know it is. And I had a small glimpse of it. So I apologize for any confusion, and I'm glad it worked out. Good. Did you have a good New Year's?
I did,
work?
yeah.
You just hung out. You didn't work.
No, I didn't work. Yeah, I worked a couple years ago, and it was fun. But it's nice to not work sometimes,
yeah,
which is a very rare thing for me to ever say. But
yep. Are you a resolution person at this point? Have you set some goals for 2019, and if so, can you share? I like the idea of resolutions. I think they should expand past a year probably, but I don't know. I want to work more. I want to get better at what I do, and just be nicer to myself, and be happy and all that fun stuff. So yeah, those are good. Those are great, man. Work more and be happy. I'm on the same path with you. So you mentioned something already that was interesting. Right around when we met, you said, and when you mixed the Magpie, that's when things really sort of shifted for you, and you started to do monitors more and be that person at the Westbury Theatre more. What was it? What was it that shifted?
Well, I started working there only in March. So I haven't even been there a year yet. Yeah. I know the production manager from another job I have, because everybody knows everybody, as I'm sure you know. And so the summer, it was my boss at my other job. His name's Gabe. He was kind of the monitor person at the space at that time. And then he went back full time to his job because he works at a college. And so Laura, who's the production manager at the space, was like, oh, let's try you out. And I was like, yeah, let's do that, because I do monitors at my other jobs, but I also do front of house at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's different, needless to say.
Yep.
So yeah, they kind of threw me in there one day and they're like, here, try this out. And it was my introduction to the SC48. I love it now.
Yeah.
First day I was a little scared, but yeah, so that's kind of how I got started doing monitors, and it's definitely my favorite thing.
So that was, Magpie that we did, that was like maybe an August or July show, I think.
Yeah, sometime
right?
around
Something
then.
like that. So you'd only been in there doing monitors for like a couple of months, maybe.
Yeah, not too long.
And you feel most at home at monitors. Why?
I do.
Why?
I think it's, I don't know. I think people don't usually bother you when you're at monitors, which is kind of a mean thing to say.
Wow.
But I find a lot of times at front of house, people are like creeping in, trying to like, leave me alone. This is my space. I'm doing my thing.
You mean audience or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh God.
Because I was going to say, most monitor engineers that have been on the show would be like, sitting in the hot seat on Monitor Land, you got the artists that are up in your business.
Yeah, I think I like the pressure of that a little bit more, because it's, I don't know, it's individual mixes per person, and it's, I don't know, it's just something about it. I just prefer it. Like, I have to please these, whatever, 4, 5, 6, 7, however many people, and not the 2,000 that are in the room. And it's this not to say I don't like mixing in front of house. I do. I just prefer monitors. I feel like I have more time to really get it to sound the way I want it to sound without 1,000 people's input, and just kind of, I don't know, I feel like I can focus more when I'm running monitors. Because it's all right there. It's not however many feet away. It's right in front of me, and it's just, I don't know. It's more fun. I honestly don't know why I find it more fun. I just do.
Yeah. Do you, I'm trying to think how to phrase this. It's basically about, the question is, or the idea is about sort of interacting with artists that you don't know quickly, right? From basically sound check, load in, sound check to the show.
Yeah.
You haven't been doing it that long, but what have you learned so far about that interaction and how best to interact with new artists that are coming in, with people that you have to please quickly? What have you learned about that so far?
I find that just introducing yourself first, like letting them kind of get settled. Because, most of the time, as I'm sure you know, when people are touring, they come in, they're exhausted, they're not in any sort of mood. So I just settle, do your thing, and I'll be like, hi, I'm Heather. I'm your monitor engineer. Anything you need, let me know. Like, I start every workday as positive as I can, and just try to keep a good attitude, because you don't know what people are going through, and I'm sure they're all exhausted and they're all tired. And so that's kind of how I start my approach. And if they're not the friendliest, I'm like, I'm like, okay, like, we're just going to take a back seat. You tell me what you want and we'll go from there.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Have you had any issues so far?
I have. Unfortunately, I'm not going to say who it is, obviously, but sometimes the artist doesn't show up to sound check, and you have to sound check with their techs. Like, I've had that with a front of house engineer, but they didn't bring a monitor engineer. And I ran the whole thing with him. He's like, this sounds great. This is exactly what they're going to want. And then the artist shows up and they're like, oh, I need this, 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 and that. I'm like, oh, you've been working with them for 40 years and you don't know what they want? And now I look like an asshole.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah. And
you kind of wonder how much that is, they either don't know what they want, or like you said, they're kind of pissy and they're not doing their job maybe to the best that they could do. And it's just like, oh, fuck it, make her deal with it when it's showtime.
Yeah, there's definitely been that.
Were you able to provide and
I
got it done quickly?
Yeah. It's always like, the vocals aren't loud enough, even though they're like screaming. Because we do a lot of metal there. So the stage is loud, the house is loud, everything is loud. But, that's usually a problem, I guess.
It's funny. That's a nice room. Do you like that room?
I do. I just started doing front of house there recently, and
so you do both there now.
Yeah. It's like I've done front of house there on like parties, and we do MMA there, just smaller events, because Dennis is the front of house guy there. I don't know if you got to meet him. He's awesome.
No, because the night I was there, Drew Consalvo, who's the front of house for Magpie.
That's right. Yeah.
He did it. So no, I didn't meet him.
Yeah.
Maybe I met him, but I don't remember. Yep.
Yeah. So he usually is the front of house guy there, but he's been kind of training me to, I don't know, I guess do that now.
You say like MMA, you talk about like mixed martial arts in the space at Westbury?
I see your MMA in the background. I don't know if that's the same. But.
No, that's from our production company, Milburn Media Arts.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Because I saw it and I was like, oh God, MMA.
I'm not a fan of that stuff, but that's a whole other thing. But that's so wild because that's like a nice space. It's like a nice room.
Yeah. They like put the cage on the floor. It's bizarre.
Wow.
But it's So I just mixed the band there. It's easy, so it's fun, but it's more or less like it's a very easy setup, a very easy day for us. So I'm lucky. I get to work with my friends, so we just kind of have fun and we get to watch people beat each other up. So that's fun every once in a while. I'm not a violent person, but it's it could be fun.
Right. I hear you. It's funny. I'm a bit more a boxing fan than I would be the MMA thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway. I'm not really into any of that stuff, but this is just what I work. So
that's funny, man. So, all right. So, Long Island girl, born and bred. You went to SUNY New Paltz for school, and you've only been out like a couple of years. You're a youngin'.
Yeah, I graduated May 2017. So,
man, good for you.
Going on 2 years. Yeah,
good for you. That's awesome. You're rocking.
It's been crazy. It's been a crazy couple of years.
Yeah. So, tell me before we get to New Paltz. I love New Paltz.
I was just there a couple days ago, actually.
Really? Yeah, I go up. One of my clients that I shoot for is the Woodstock Farm Animal Sanctuary up in High Falls. Yeah. And it's nice to hit a bunch of those restaurants in New Paltz and just walk around. And very cool little hippie progressive. I think it's progressive. Seems kind of progressive.
It is. I lived there for 4 years. Yeah, that's true. It's a college town, but there's a bunch of old hippies there. So.
Yeah, totally. So, all right. So tell me about growing up in Long Island. We got a big family, small family, musical family. Are you the oddball? Who are you?
All right. So I'm a twin. First thing.
Cool.
Which shocks people for some reason. She is my polar opposite. I have a brother and
Identical
my two parents.
Twin?
No, she looks nothing like me. Okay. She does nothing that I do. It's like we look like distant relatives. It's bizarre. So I guess like an average size family.
Okay.
Nobody is particularly musical. The three of us used to play instruments when we were younger.
Yeah.
My brother still kind of plays guitar every once in a while. My parents are not musical at all. Wow. They both try. They're just not.
Was there music playing in your family?
Always, yeah. My uncle was kind of like in the punk scene, and there's music around my family, and everybody likes music. They just don't play anything. Right. Needless to say. So yeah, I grew up with like Prince and Michael Jackson, and obviously Billy Joel. I'm on Long Island.
Yep.
Shout out to Billy. Elton John, like stuff like that is kind of how I was raised. A lot of 80s, so much 80s.
Yeah.
So everybody likes music here. I'm the only one that kind of does something with it.
So when did that start and why? What was the instrument you were playing?
I used to play the flute back in the day when I was a little kid, from like the 4th grade to I think the 6th grade. Not very long. Yeah. I just thought it was cool because that's what our music teacher in elementary school played, and she was cool. Her name was Miss Rakes. I think she remarried. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, so I started with that, and then I really wanted to play the drums, but they already had too many people that played the drums, so that dream died. But I'm sitting here staring at a drum set, actually. So maybe that'll be my resolution. Maybe we'll learn
at your parents' house or your place?
Yeah, I still live with my parents. I can't afford to move out yet.
It's all good. Yeah. Save that money as long as you can.
I'm working on it. Yeah, saving to move out. That's the goal.
Yeah, good. So what started happening in your teen years? Did you drift away from the 80s scene and get a little bit more hardcore?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. I mean, half your head shaved for Christ's sake.
Yeah, it is. And I have tattoos and funky colored hair.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of like what the kids call emo.
Yep.
I don't want to call it that. But I actually never listened to them. But stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I was more of a like pop emo. Like Paramore is my favorite band.
Gotcha.
I love them.
Yep.
So stuff like that. And then as I kind of grew older, it became back to this 80s. I love Prince. I still listen to Prince all the time.
Yeah.
Obviously Michael Jackson is amazing. So like people like that I still listen to, but it's a lot of like I've been getting more into punk now.
Yep.
Because of like friends' recommendations and everything. But yeah, I grew up going to a lot of like Fall Out Boy things and All Time Low. I used to listen to them a lot, and Paramore and like bands like that. And I used to see concerts all the time with my best friend Gabby. We would go probably more than we should have, to be honest with you, given that we were in high school and in middle school. But yeah, I was a concert goer for sure. Music was just everything.
Are you close to the Westbury Theatre?
I am. It's like 10 minutes from me.
So were you going there as a kid?
I actually only went there once, and it was for a comedy show.
Wow.
It was for John Mulaney, and I think it was when I was a senior in high school or a freshman in college. So
what were the clubs you were going to?
A lot of things in the city.
Okay.
Irving Plaza, Terminal 5 was a big one.
Yep.
Gramercy, like all those kind of venues.
Yep.
And I think it used to be called Best Buy Theater. I think it's PlayStation Theater now.
Yep.
Yeah, stuff like that. And like smaller, like the studio at Webster Hall. I saw a couple people there.
Cool.
And like I like that place because it's small. So you get to actually like meet people, which is fun. So I met a bunch of bands there, and like, I don't know, just a cool little place.
So when you were going all these shows in high school, it was more as a spectator. Were you sort of, did your eye gravitate to who's that fucking guy or gal at the side of the stage doing that thing behind that, mission control looking thing, and who's that person in the front of the house position?
What are they doing?
Yeah. Were you looking at those people thinking, what's that? That looks cool. Or were you just like into the band and you doing that trip?
Kind of a little bit of both. I think noticing like audio engineers started a little bit later for me because I was like so into the concerts all the time. But like I said, I used to listen to All Time Low. They were good back then. I love them. And they were very like open about their crew. Like they had the same crew all the time, and you got to know their crew. So I was like, that's kind of what I want to do. Like I really like concerts, so I should probably do that. And here we are. So it's not necessarily because of them, but just kind of seeing crew visibility. Thank you, because you do that too. I think is important because a lot of people don't know that there are people that make sound happen and lights happen and video and etc. They just don't know. Right. And it's kind of crazy.
Right. There's a lot of people that just get a band from point A to point B.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah.
So why SUNY New Paltz? State school, cheap.
That, and like it wasn't too far from home if I needed to come home, and it's not too close to here. So I had my distance, and I've never lived anywhere upstate before. I've always been on Long Island or around the city. So it was something new, and it's a really pretty area. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful up there.
It's like 3 hours from you?
It's like, 2 hours. It's not bad. Yeah. Definitely doable. Yeah, but they have a production program there. I was actually going to go to school for fine arts. I didn't, obviously. But yeah, they had a great art program, and because it's a very artsy school. Yeah. And I looked into their production program, and I was going to do like a dual major in that. And I got accepted into their art program, and it's like, okay, cool. I guess this is what we're doing. I applied early action because I just had a good feeling about the school. Yep. Like, this seems weird. This seems like it's for me. So yeah, that's why SUNY New Paltz. And my best friend went there. So and I met, that's it. And I obviously, and I obviously met some great people while I was there too. So yeah.
So tell me about the audio media. What is audio media? Audio visual arts? What do they call it?
It's they have my official major was digital media production, and it was great. Like I learned things obviously, and the program, the professors are amazing, but there's only one audio class within that program, and I was like, well, I want to do more of this. So I took the music department had recording, and the theater department had audio engineering, and so I actually made a major while I was in college. So I made the audio major in New Paltz. I don't know how official it's become, but yeah, I have a contract major in audio production because of that. That's
sick. Did they actually give you a diploma that states that?
It says contract major. It doesn't say audio production, but that is what my contract major is. So I don't know.
Yeah. That's awesome. Who were some teachers, or were there some teachers there, professors there that you gravitated toward, because they could help you in that side of it, and that acted as mentors in a way?
Yeah, I had this professor. Her name's Sunny Kill. She actually worked on the Olympics in Korea.
Sunny Kill?
Yeah, she's awesome.
Name. That's a punk name.
Oh my God, it's fantastic.
Wow. Professor
she's amazing.
Kill. Holy shit, that's tremendous.
Yeah, Kil. She's a badass. I love her. She was definitely my mentor. Mm-hmm. She was like, Heather, you need to do this. You need to do this. Like, she kind of guided me in what I needed to do. And she was a theater professor, and I didn't necessarily want to do theater, but obviously audio is audio and the basics are the basics. So she really, really helped me out. And even still, like, I still talk to her. She'll still give me advice. And I mean, she's a woman too. So I was like, oh, hell yeah. Sound ladies. Love it.
Yeah. So let's just talk about that for a second. So you're 17 years old, 18 years old. You're going off to school. There's this audio thing that's nagging at you. You want to try it out, but you're looking around. Were there any other women that you could come across beside Professor Kill?
I actually didn't meet her until my junior year of college.
Okay.
So my first couple years was in the DMJ department, digital media journalism. And yeah, they push video a lot, which I understand, but there was like so many dudes. And even like girls like that were doing video, there just wasn't a lot of us. And like there are obviously some, but it's just a lot of dudes. So many dudes.
Right.
But I mean, that's how it is outside of college too.
Yeah.
So
I think though the nice part, were there a lot of people doing audio or no?
There, like I said, there was only the one class. So if that wasn't like your interest, like you had to take it because you had to take it. And obviously audio is very important in video, which some people don't know.
That's crazy to me. Yeah. That's an interesting thing that a place is going to teach you digital media production or whatever, especially video, because that's my first thing. Yeah. That you're not going to get an equal balance in audio. You know, there's a lot going on, especially if you get higher up and you're working, you know, remote and all that kind of stuff, or even live streaming these days. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you should know. They should beef that shit up, SUNY New Paltz.
I mean, in the audio production class, I had a professor, his name was Brett Barry, and I actually was his TA. He's another one of my mentors. I love him too. He was the audio guy. So like, he's like, guys, you need to learn this. It's really important. Yeah. Like, I know audio is not what everybody wants to do, but if your audio is bad, your video is bad. So
it's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's so noticeable.
Yeah, you can't forgive bad audio.
You can have the best shots in the world, but if you sound terrible, it's not good.
Exactly.
And it's not an aesthetic like people say. That's not an aesthetic.
No, definitely not. Now, were you able to hop in? Are there any clubs? I know there's like a couple of coffee houses and stuff in New Paltz. Are there any like clubs?
There was a few, and I emailed around. Didn't really hear much back, but I interned in Kingston, which is like 20 minutes at BSP. Yep. They were really fun. They were great people to work with. And I learned a lot there, just like being in a live setting, because you know, you can learn, obviously you learn things in college, but until you're doing it, you're not really doing it.
Right. Until that mic breaks in the middle of a set, you don't know shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and the amps just shut off for some reason. Right. Because that happened to me once. That was fun. Nice little power outage right before the show started. Wow. Yeah, that was when I went back to BSP to actually work, and just, I don't know, something happened, all the power went out. It was a nightmare. But whatever. But yeah, so I interned there. I learned a lot of stuff there, and then I ended up working for the music department in their theater as their live sound engineer. So yeah, got to do some stuff up there.
How big is SUNY New Paltz?
Not big. I don't remember how. I think somebody said 8,000, but I don't even think it's that much. I don't think that's true. Don't quote me on that.
So it sounds like in that world, though, you were kind of able to grow to be a bigger fish.
Yeah, because I picked what I liked and I went with it. Yeah. Like it's great to get that like little bit of knowledge on everything, but I knew I wanted to do audio. I knew I loved it. So I was like, well, why am I going to not take these classes just because they're in a different department? Like, yeah, I won't get credit for my major, but wow, I'll learn something. Yeah. You know, and I think people forget that when they're in college. It's like, obviously, like, money is money and you have to be able to afford these things. But if you want to know something, go learn it. Like, that's, I don't know, that's kind of like, there's so many people like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. And like, all right, go do it. Right. Don't hold yourself back. Just kind of get out there and make it happen. And then you never know, you might end up with a fake major. So
yeah, right, exactly. You can create your own thing. Exactly. So tell me about like the perception that maybe some friends, family, parents had. You know, you're obviously smart, you know what you want to do. Yeah. Which is good. You weren't like wavering, like, I don't know if I want to do this, whatever. But, you know, was there hesitation or anything on anyone's part where it's like, Heather, there's no women don't do this. This is not what girls do. What are you doing? Oh, yeah, or, you know, whoa, like, what is that? Right? I mean, because like you said, like not a lot of people know about what all these people do. So, you know, there's that. So how do you explain that? And then, so did you get some pushback and how'd you deal with that?
I don't know if anyone was necessarily like, oh, you're a woman, this is the man's job, like officially stating that.
Sure.
But there is definitely like, well, a lot of men do this. It's going to be harder for you because you're a woman.
Yeah.
But like, it's kind of everything, isn't it? But yeah, I knew that. And by like that point, I knew about sound girls and women's audio mission and female frequency and like those groups of women that are like, hello, we exist.
Already in school, you knew about them.
Yeah, I did.
That's great.
And
how'd you find out about them?
just the internet.
Yeah.
And I actually don't even remember how I came across it. But yeah, just finding those people was great. And I've done some demo things with sound girls and stuff. And it's awesome because you get to obviously meet people, which is great. And actually you interviewed, oh God, what's her name? Jill. Oh God. Oh, I forgot her last name.
Oh.
She's from New Zealand.
Yes. Recently.
Yeah, recently, because I just listened to that one the other day, and I actually shadowed her because of Sound Girls, and that was cool. It's like, oh, cool, I get to meet another woman. So yeah, I learned about them, and that was kind of like, all right, okay, cool. There are other ladies that want to do this, and Susan Rogers, who used to engineer for Prince. Yeah, and I love Prince, as we have discussed. So she was like my big influencer, and I got to meet her, which was really cool.
How'd you pull that off?
I did for my senior thesis for our honors program and for our production program. I did a documentary on women in sound. Yeah, it's called The Fierce 5% Women in the Sound Industry. Yeah, what? And so I just straight up, I emailed Berkeley where she works and I was like, hey, I really love Susan Rogers and I'm doing this documentary. Like if you can, I asked for images and permission for images before even being like, hey, can I interview you? And she was like, oh, absolutely. Like, come on down. So we drove to Boston at 3:30 in the morning, did the interview, got to hang out with Susan Rogers, and then I drove home and went to class, and it was crazy.
Whoa. Okay, hold on. We got a lot to break.
Yeah, I know we do. Yeah, sorry.
Shit, that's okay. All right. So all right. So you've done a documentary. Give me the title again.
The Fierce 5% Women in the Sound Industry.
And this is video.
Yes, it's a video.
And where is this video?
It's on YouTube. I can send you the link.
Yeah, you're going to send me the link.
Just a reminder.
Yeah.
It's a college film, so it's not as amazing as it probably could be. We were on a school budget.
That's okay. You did it, and that's awesome.
We did, and we won the SUNY Wide Film Festival. So
it's got to be
we did all right. It's pretty good. Yeah, I'm very proud of it.
All right, you're going to send me the link, and we're going to share the shit out of that thing.
Oh, thank you.
And it's going to be great. So don't forget to do that.
Well, it features some sound ladies in it too. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, that is tremendous, man. Oh, I can't wait to see this. How long is it?
It's about 16 minutes long.
16 or 60?
16.
16 minutes.
16,
cool.
16:30 is the end time. Something like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Good for you, man.
Thanks. Yeah, it was fun.
I mean, I can imagine that obviously opened some doors and got you to meet some new people and, got your name out there. Great way to market. Right?
Mm-hmm. It wasn't the intention, but it definitely helped.
That is great, man. All right. So then you get to drive to Boston and interview her. Tell me about that, because obviously you're a big Prince fan, as we've mentioned 17 million times.
Yes.
So how was it to actually sit with someone who not only knew the man, but worked with the man?
I don't get starstruck, but I was sitting there and I was like, whoa, this is real life. This is happening. Yeah. And not like freaking out or anything, but I was like, you're one of the reasons I do this. And that's kind of like a lot to say to a person, because I guess people think that that's kind of like, oh, like I'm why you do what you do. And
you told her that?
I don't know. I told her that in the email. And when I met her, I was like, you're a lot of the reason why I do what I do. Seeing people like you doing sound, I was like, okay, cool. I can do that too. And she's so sweet and she's so smart. Oh my God, just the way she talks, I'm like, you're a genius. But yeah, I didn't ask her about Prince because it wasn't about him, but she mentioned him a couple times and I was like, oh God. And my mom, like I mentioned, my mom loves Prince, so she was freaking out.
Did she go with you?
No, she didn't, but I told her about it and she's like, I'm so excited for you. This is so awesome. Yeah. But yeah, it was just kind of sitting and it felt very like kind of organic. And I wasn't even asking the questions. One of the guys I was working with was asking her questions and it was just natural. Yeah. It was like just a very casual conversation with one of the women. That is the reason I do this. So
that's awesome.
Very bizarre.
That's fantastic. I mean, and I know the thing. I mean, you've listened to a couple of these episodes, right? Like, yeah, I'd love to hear all the stories about Prince, or I'd love to hear all the stories about whatever artists, that for the tech or whoever I happen to be talking about. Yes, that would be great. But the show's about you. It's about this thing.
about the text.
And I think that story is equally as amazing because they are. I mean, and particularly when you get to meet someone that like, damn,
Yeah.
you are the reason I'm doing this,
It's just, it hits you.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. It's awesome. How long was your interview?
It was, I think, probably about 45 minutes to an hour. And obviously we couldn't use all of it, but she showed us around the studio. She showed us around Berkeley. It's like, oh my God, do I have to go here now? Right. Wow. It's really nice. Just like, oh, some of the stuff's old. I'm like, this is more than we have. It's fine.
Right.
You don't need to make excuses. This is beautiful. It's Berkeley. Yeah.
That's very cool, man. So, so in that 45 minutes or hour long interview, were there any surprises? And was there stuff that you came away with like, damn, I got to do that?
I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been a little while since that happened, and I haven't, I guess, thought about it. But yeah, just she started. I think. Oh God, it's in the interview. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
But she moved with one of her friends, and they both wanted to do that. And she started as, I think, a receptionist and in like some sort of tech place. And the thing that I took away from it the most that it sticks with me every day. She says something along the lines of, if you want to do this forever, like you have to know the tech behind it and you have to be able to like fix things and know how to fix things. And that I was like, whoa, okay. Yeah, I should probably like get better at soldering and like learn about circuit boards and stuff like that, because it's the truth. Like, there's always going to be a need for people to fix things. And I don't know, I should probably know more about the things I use. And yeah, that definitely stuck with me.
Cool. That's very cool, man. It's so awesome when you get to meet people like that, right?
It is. She was so nice.
How about artists so far? Have there been artists that have come through that you've gotten to mix, let's say front of house or monitors, that you're, like, damn, that was awesome, or someone that maybe you looked up to in some way or something?
I haven't gotten the opportunity to mix somebody I've like listened to my whole life and like, but like the places I worked on served the audience of my age usually. Right. So, but, well, we just did Long Island Music Hall of Fame, like whatever, a month ago or so. Yeah. And I didn't get to mix for it. I was the A3 and I was doing video, but it was like, oh, like there's Billy Joel. He's just up there. Like that was a weird moment being a Long Islander. I'm like, I'm 10 feet away from Billy Joel. Okay, this is my life now. Yeah. And then I did monitors for Dee Snider, and that was cool because he's Dee Snider.
When was that show?
That was in September. So it's like a week after my birthday.
So the bass player's been on the show.
Yeah.
Tanya.
He's yeah.
He or she?
No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of a different band. I think they had a he with them. I think it was a guy.
Interesting. Maybe,
yeah, I don't think there was any women.
Tanya's got Tanya O'Callahan. She's got crazy dreads. She's Irish.
Yeah, she was not awesome. There. I would have absolutely remembered that.
Yeah, she's cool.
The old bass player from Twisted Sister is in a band. I think they're called Joe Rock and the All Stars, and they came there. They were an opener. They were really nice. I didn't get to mix for them either, but I was on Team Sound, and they were so sweet. Yeah. They were so good, so friendly. He was awesome, and we also had Blue Oyster Cult, which is a band like a lot of my family likes. Yeah. Again, they brought their own engineer, but they were just so nice. Like it's so weird. You never expect people to just be like super friendly when they're this famous.
Right.
But a lot of the times they are. Like, I mean, you kind of forget that they're just people.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
They're people. They're exhausted.
Yeah. Like we're all tired.
Into. Right.
Exactly. We're all sad. We're all tired. We're all making it through the day.
Do you have aspirations to go on the road?
I do. Very, very badly. Yeah. And it hasn't happened for me yet, but that's kind of where I want to, I mean, obviously I could say this after I've had the experience, but that's what I want to do like forever. I just want to be going and going and going and go everywhere because I want to see everything. I want to go everywhere and I want to do this. I kind of want to die behind a soundboard, which is really morbid, but
careful what you wish for, my friend.
No, I know. And I kind of want it to be a Digico, but yeah, I like this a lot, and I really, really want to tour very badly.
Why do you like the Digico?
I just do. We have one at Adelphi where I work. It's an S21. I actually have a tattoo of it. Yeah, I'm like real dedicated. It's the first, like my first real adult job after college was there. And that's the first like I've used digital consoles before, but that's the first one I was like, wow, I really like this. Like, she's fun. She's user friendly. It's colorful, but it's easy to use and I understand it. And I think because of that and because I've done like fun shows on it, like, wow, I love this thing.
You've bonded
and I just
with it.
I did. It's like my child. It's so sad. But yeah, I really like that one a lot. And I just did a training with Digico a couple weeks ago on their SD series.
Yeah.
And
they're in Long Island, right?
Yeah, I think they're in like Farmingdale or something. But they actually did one in Purchase, upstate. Well, it's not really upstate, but everything's upstate from me.
That was like, is that December or November?
That was November. Yeah, the end of November.
Yeah, because I met them at AES this year.
Me too. Yeah.
And they were super nice, and I was like, I'd love to do. So, I mean, listen, I don't know how much you know, but I don't do this for a living. I don't know. I couldn't figure out one of those boards, and I stand there with you guys every time I do an interview or whatever. I go to a show, and I'm just like fascinated, and I'm watching to see if it could like make sense to my brain. Like, I think I've picked up a couple of things because people like you are like, oh yeah, if you hit this button, it does X, Y, and Z. But I mean, I understand the basics. Monitors is a whole different thing. To my brain, like I get front of house a lot more, here's all your shit and put the faders up and you go.
Well, because that's a lot like, I mean, you obviously do recordings.
Yeah.
Because you do this. So it's more similar to that.
Right.
Than I'd say monitors is.
Right. I think all the routing and the grouping and like what this person wants to hear as opposed to what that person wants to hear. And then all the separate plugins that this person's got beside that person, that shit. I'm like, I don't know how you would figure that out. But so I was like, oh, it'd be fun to like take a ding dong like me to a place like Digico and do a video about like how fast could I get up to speed or something. And the guy was like, yeah, man, come on down. And he told me that there was that training. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm talking about an actual training because I think it'll be lost on me.
We need to start from zero.
Yeah. Like, let's just power the thing on and I'm good.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, that's cool. So you got a tattoo of the board or of the Digico logo?
Of the board. Yeah. Yeah. I'll show it to you, but this microphone is like not behaving, so it might fall. But yeah, this is there she is.
Oh my God, look at that. It's insane.
Yeah, it's really good.
That is listen, you better keep doing this for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I also have XLR tattoos behind both my ears. So I'm a patch bay. My last name's Bay. So yeah, I really like my job.
That is so awesome. So, okay, so that begs this other question, which is your Instagram handle is Adventures in Sound. Yeah. Why'd you choose that as opposed to like Heather Bay or Patch Bay? Or what is it about the Adventures in Sound? Is this a journey you're documenting?
I guess it is. It's not even like my professional Instagram, if that's even a thing. It's just, this is what I do. And like every day is different. Every day is weird. And I was honestly surprised that handle wasn't taken. Yep. So I was like, cool, this is mine now. So yeah, no serious thought behind it at all. Right. I was honestly, like I said, surprised it wasn't taken already.
That's so cool, man. Good for you. I'm psyched that this is, that you're so struck by this and that you want to go full tilt with it. And, as you've probably heard from many people's stories, right? Getting on the road is a whole timing thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right place, right time. And
who you know. And
yeah.
Yeah.
It could be this interview. It could be someone listening right now. There could be a TM
really hope so.
Right?
I am so dedicated. I'm so organized. I promise I don't take up a lot of space.
No.
Yeah.
And I have to say, like, I didn't also realize when we met, don't take this one, I didn't realize that you were as young as you are.
No, that's fine. That's a compliment.
Right. And because like your interaction with Rich and the band and everything for the Magpie was like right there, fucking straight focused, boom. Not that young people wouldn't be. I'm just saying, like you're very professional.
But I think people grow into their professionalism and not a lot of people I'm very lucky. I've been doing this since before I graduated. So I don't know. I think I just have a little bit more experience and a little bit more drive than a lot of people that are my age. Mm-hmm. And that's obviously doesn't include everybody, but yeah, I try to keep it as professional as I can.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to do.
Whether you're mixing monitors or you're doing front of house, do you get nervous before a show?
Oh my God, so nervous. My anxiety. God, it's awful. But like, it's not even like, I know what I'm doing and I know that. I have such bad feedback anxiety because when I was first starting this, I was like, well, I don't know what to do. Well, now I obviously do, but so it's just like, oh God, what if it happens? But it then you ring out your wedges before, like there's obviously ways to get around it. And I've been lucky. I haven't had feedback on a stage in a long time, but
right.
I definitely get nervous.
Sure.
Because, too many times, like when I was an intern and the power shut off, that also happened. There was a thunderstorm when I was working at college, shut the whole system off because the power went out. And like, I just have had weird things happen to me when I was starting this. So there's still anxiety. There's still
PTSD
some worry
from that shit.
Yeah. So stupid. Like, what are the odds that that happens again?
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I love the fact that you're open, willing to learn, going to Digico seminars, stuff like that. What other ways or outlets are you trying to find right now to go and do things like that? Any safety type stuff that you're looking into? Or are you just like, you know what, dude, right now I'm keeping my head down and I'm just like, each day is another challenge and doing that.
It's, I guess, a little bit of everything. Each day is a new challenge, and it's just about figuring out, like, what's the problem? How do we fix it? And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. I guess I don't have a backup. I never thought about that, but this has been good to me so far. I'm usually very busy.
Yeah.
And I just, like, every once in a while, I'm like, all right, I'm getting not as busy as I want to be. And then I'll just send out emails to, like, every shop, every venue, like, everything. And I actually just recently heard back from a couple of them. So yeah, it's cold emailing. That's the way to do it. I know, like, that's not what a lot of people do, but that's what I do. And that's how I got most of my jobs. So
that's awesome. That's awesome, man. As you sit and think about, the sort of longer tail of your career, let's say 3 to 5 years, that's not even that long. That's going to go by like that. As you think about that and you look around, are you like, Long Island's going to get a little small. Maybe it's LA, maybe it's, Seattle or wherever the fuck it is, Nashville or something. Is there a spot that you've picked out that you're like, I got to end up there? Or it's on the road. I guess it's on the road.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to do. My goal this year is to move out, and I think I'll be moving to Queens. If things work out, I'll be moving there. So that will make it easier to work in Manhattan and the like. So I've started like looking at places in Brooklyn and in Manhattan to kind of break into that scene a little bit more, because there's only so many venues on Long Island, and everybody knows everybody. So there's only so much I could do here, and like there's still obviously things left for me to do. But yeah, I think I never really thought where I would be in 4 years as far as location goes. I don't know if I'd ever really leave New York. I like New York, but the road I think is where I want to be. Hopefully. That's my plan, at least.
Nice. Have you encountered, now that you're out, you're working in a spot, and you get bands that come through that have, their own monitor person or their own front of house person, and you are, A2 or A3, something like that. Mm-hmm. Have you encountered any sexism?
Yeah, unfortunately. It's a lot of like, oh no, it's okay, you don't have to do that. And then they'll like give one of like the men I work with something to do. I'm like, but I know more than them. I am the A2 or I am the A3. Like, I'm here to help you do audio and make our system work for you. So don't pretend like I'm not here.
Right. And
like we had a group come in Westbury, and they were like so cool all day. And then they started making sexist jokes, and they're like, oh, but it's funny. I'm like, yeah, but like you kind of ruined the vibe. Like I can take a joke. I really can. But like, I don't know, man. Are you better than me because you're a man? I don't think you are. Like, but yeah, it's unfortunate. It's happened a bunch of times, but I just kind of, you got to hold it in, because you can't like scream at somebody in the middle of a show and whatever. But like, there's definitely been some times, especially when I was younger, where they're like, honey, sweetie, all that. I'm like, oh, but my name's actually Heather.
Do you
Sorry.
Say that?
Yeah, I do.
Good.
Because like, that's my name. And it's weird when like I don't know, like when people my age call me that, I'm like, no, that's gross. Don't do that. Like, if you're like a really old man or an old lady, like, sure, that's what old people do. But yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. I think next time that happens, you should pull up your fucking sleeve and be like, see this?
Well, now
dude?
I have it.
Right. Yeah. Now you got it. I got this shit on my fucking arm.
Yeah. Yeah. That definitely happened one day where like, I think I was working at Tillis maybe, and there was like the audio crew. And it was a concert, so all of it's like pretty much audio and like setup and everything. And they're like, "Oh no, like you can go help somebody else." And I was like, "No, like I'm an audio engineer. I'm here to help you." And then they saw my XLR tattoos. They're like, "Oh, yeah, no, you do this. And I'm like, oh yeah, I do. Like, what a thought. I didn't lie about it. and a couple times I've gotten where there's like a sound company on Long Island that comes in a lot to Tillis. And they're great. They're called SK. They do a lot of Digico. They do a lot of JBL, and I love both of those. But they'll hire them to come in and work with like the bigger concerts. And then we have like the house audio person. So that was me one day. Mm-hmm. And their engineers from the tour were like, oh, like, is there a house person? I'm like, oh, it's me. And then they like asked me a couple times, and I was like, again, I'm the house audio person. I can help you. It just takes some time. And I think like part of it is obviously being a woman, and a lot of it is also because I'm 23. So right. They're like, oh, how do you know anything? I'm like, well, I do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Good, man.
Yeah.
If you had to give some advice to someone younger, guy or girl, who was getting into this at this point in your long career,
in my 4 or 5 year career,
you've learned some things so far.
Yeah,
clearly.
absolutely.
What would it be?
I guess just you have to know that this is what you want to do. And there's going to be doubts sometimes, but if it's really, really what you want to do, you got to stick through it. You got to stick through the hard days, because the good days are great. And you never realize, but you become such good friends with the people you work with, because you're there 12 plus hours a day. Yeah. So just having the right attitude, I think, is not more important, but just as important as knowing what you're doing. Because if you have a piss poor attitude, nobody cares how good you are. Right. And always be open to learning, because I know a lot of people my age that are like, no, like, I could do it. I can figure it out. It's like, no, just ask questions. Like, that's how you learn, and you learn by doing. But like, you still have to learn. Like, yeah, I can mix front of house. I can mix monitors. I know how sound works, but there's still things I don't know. And there's still things I won't know 10 years from now. You should always be open to learning. That's my big advice. And as far as applying for jobs go, cold emailing. That's the way. That's I don't know. It's just like my system. It's worked. So yeah, and I have to, like, for myself too, and for everybody, like, just being patient about your aspirations and your career. Like, I'm a really ambitious person, and I really want certain things for myself, like touring and whatever. And it gets hard sometimes when you're like, oh, like, I'm not there yet. I haven't done it yet. But patience. It'll happen if it's meant to happen. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. It's hard to temper that when you're young and ambitious, right? Yeah, exactly. And like, now is the time to do it, because it's not like I'm paying rent. So I want to just go while I'm young, and I can afford to, I guess. I've talked a little bit about this on the show, but you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is? Remind me. He's like a, millionaire, whatever, motivational speaker, and rose to sort of fame. He grew his dad's wine company by like from 3 million to 63 million in like a few years. Wow. And then took no money from it and started his own thing. And he's 43. I think he just turned 43. Anyway, great content. You should check it out. Okay. And I'm 47. And he talks a lot about patience. That's like one of his huge mantras, because he's like, you got all these kids that are coming out with debt, and they're doing this, and they want it all right now. Yeah. And if you realized that at 40, you still feel like you do when you're 27, which is like, I'm 47. I feel like I'm fucking 15 sometimes. I probably act that way too. That's more fun. You've got a lot of time. Unless you are befallen by something, you have a lot of time to pursue your thing and to make it happen and to build a career. And so I think it's awesome if you can temper that ambition a bit. That's why I said, like, or is your goal, to just head down and keep working. And, in 2020, this time next year, I'll have some more, sort of broader goals. But for now, it's nose to the grindstone. Yeah, just and being exactly cool with that. You gotta just be happy with what you have when you have it. Yeah. Because like this time last year, I didn't have some of the jobs I have now, and I wasn't as busy as I am now. And you don't realize how quickly it happens sometimes, and you have to kind of appreciate that. So yeah, but definitely patience. God, that's the thing I'm working on. I think everybody has to work on. But yeah, you're right. Cool.
All right, last couple things, Heather, before we wrap it up for 2019. You mentioned working 12-hour days, 14-hour days. They're long days. They're hard days.
Yeah.
Not a lot of sleep. You're eating craft service, crappy food.
Oh, if we're lucky.
If you're
Sometimes
lucky.
you don't get food.
Right. Maybe you don't get any food. Maybe you want to hang out after work and have several hundred drinks or whatever your thing is.
Several hundred Guinnesses.
Right,
Yeah.
several hundred Guinnesses. Are you wise enough yet? You've got the patience part, you got the ambition part, and the education part. Are you wise enough to figure out that you got to take care of yourself yet?
Yeah, I'm working on that more and more. Towards the end of the year, I've been like trying to go to the gym and eat better, and sleeping is still hard.
Because I'll tell you this, back to the patience thing. 40 may feel like 20, but to get from 20 to 40 or 23 to 40 is going to happen like that, my friend.
Yeah.
And when you're 40 trying to pull it together, or 47, it's fucking hard.
Not going to happen. Yeah.
Take it from
I know
this
myself. It won't happen when I'm 40 if I don't do it now.
Yeah. So you do. You're working on that.
Yeah, I'm trying to be better about it. Trying to be better about relaxing.
Yeah, right. It's hard, man.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Especially when I just love being busy. I love working. So when I have days off, I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, I know.
But you need them. You do. You need them to like unwind and let your body like rest.
Are you listening to as much music as you used to?
Probably more, I'd say.
More? Cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
listening
definitely
to
more of a
these days?
variety. My friend, he made me a playlist recently. It's a lot of like old hip hop, old punk, old metal. So he's like, you need to learn about music. You obviously like what you like, but like here's different things. Here's learn more. I'm like, no, you're right. So,
well, it's funny. It sounds like he's saying learn more, but learn where it came from.
Yeah, exactly. Because everything has a start, and
you know, put it in context.
Yeah, I guess like he's Gabe. His name's Gabe. He's my boss at Adelphi, and I work with him other places. And he's like, yeah, I'm like really tired of listening to your playlist at work. I'm like, oh, okay, got it. It's like, here's something different. I'm like, okay. It's like, stop playing the Arctic Monkeys all the time. I'm like, but they're my favorite. So yeah, it's that, and like my other friends giving me recommendations, and so I'm trying to expand my music taste, I guess.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Heather, how do people find you?
I have a Facebook. It's not great, but I have one. My Instagram, I think, is probably the best one,
which is
Adventures
in Sound.
Yes, it is. I have a Twitter. I think it's Fire Hair Sound, but I don't really use it.
You got to get all those things the same.
Yeah, I know. I had different ambitions when I made them all. Right. So yeah, I do. But like I said, I don't really use Twitter, so I don't know.
I still haven't figured out Twitter.
Yeah, I have
wait, you're 22, 23.
23, yeah.
So what's the thing? Is it Instagram? Is it Twitch? What are you doing?
I think like Instagram is where I post most about work, because I like pictures, you know?
Yep.
The consoles are pretty.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think that's probably the best place to find me. And then, I mean, if you want my email, you can have my email. It's heatherbay@gmail.com. Very simple.
Well,
my name at Gmail.
Someone listening is going to write you and be like, Heather, we're leaving tomorrow. Pack your shit.
I hope so bad. And I will thank you endlessly if that happens.
Hopefully it's not a creepy old voice like I just did.
Yeah, but like, you know, you take what you can get, right?
That's true, right. I got a great tour for you.
Yeah, we're going to go tomorrow.
That's right. We're leaving tomorrow. Pack your shits.
That's right.
Heather, man, this has been awesome. And thank you so very much for coming on the show. I appreciate it. I know you're busy. This has been awesome.
It has. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you for
very
having
welcome.
me.
Good luck this year. And maybe I'll get back to the Westbury Theatre and shoot another show. We can say hi.
Yeah, sounds good. Hope to see you there.
All right, you got it. Heather, thank you very much. We're going to find you a gig on the road. It's going to happen. You hang in there, girl. Guys, we're going to see you next week. Episode 119 is coming up with tour manager. My man, Charles Twilling, is on the show. You can follow us in the meantime at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Podcast, YouTube, and Spotify, all as Roadie Free Radio. Check out the website, roadiefreeradio.com. Send me a note because you know I want to hear from you. That's info@roadiefreeradio.com. And in the meantime, y'all be safe out there. No roadies, no rock and roll.